Hello and welcome to Damp Sam Reacts. Damp Sam reacting to another video. This is an interesting one this week, and I'm big into coincidences. So if any of you ever had any coincidences, and normally come in twos and threes, then get in touch and put in comments, because we'll not get a job in a certain place for months and months and months, and then you'll get three all at the same time. You might not have a coving job. This was years ago when I was plastering. You won't have a coving job for, I don't know, years, and then you'll get three coving jobs, and they all seem to be in the same place. Spooky, weird, I don't know. You decide. So this is why this one's spooky and weird, because I love helping people, and I help you viewers out there. So there's a lot of you that watch this channel and hopefully get a lot of value from it, and I help you find out and save money. So I find out damp issues, it points you in the right direction, and you can save money. Now this video is going to put a lot of these things into one big basket. A lot of things that I go on about on this channel, and I'll just tell you what it's going to be. So I typed in damp and renovation, to be fair, and this came up, this video here, and it's called How to Fix Damp, and it's UK property, and it's Steve Hamilton, and I'll just tell you what it says. So it says follow UK property developer Steve Hamilton as he takes, I can't see from it. I can't see from my screen. As he takes you around a property with damp issues, and I wanted to put this bit in. I've got my glasses on, and they're for short sight. They're for short sighted, and it's a fair bit away. I've got my camera in front, and I can't fucking see the screen. So just bear with me. I'm gonna have to get right close. Just bear with me. There we go. Right, so follow UK property developer Steve Hamilton as he takes you around a property with a damp expert who's been in the industry for over 10 years. Listens to Steve and Darren, so it's a guy called Darren, as they explain the different types of damp found in property. Oh, there's a bit more actually. Oh, a bit more. And the possible causes, and also ways to treat it. Spotting damp is really important thing for any property developer, so we hope this video is really helpful and educational. Well, we'll see about that, shall we? We'll see how educational it is, because it's had 10,000 views. It's been done a year ago. And so there's 10,000 people that's watching this video, and they all think this is exactly how you deal with damp, and when you go into properties, you kind of find out. And I'll make an admission here, and I don't normally do it. I've already watched this video because I was intrigued, so I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to go through it with you, and I'm going to point out things that are right, because I'm a fair person. I'll hold my hands up and say that's right, that's good. This is what he's doing, and I'll point out any things that are wrong, if there are any. Shall we get him in the building? Let's have a look what he's got to say. And I'm going to be fair, like I always am, and I might be funny. If I'm funny, laugh. If I'm not, don't. And I'll just warn everybody, if I'm grinding you already, there's an off button. Turn it off and fuck off. If you're interested and you want to watch it, then watch it and get some value from it. There you go. So anybody that don't like at me doing this, there's an off button. And if you do like it, thumbs up, and welcome to the show. So let's get him on. Here we go. I hope I've pressed everything. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're on. Come on, pal. Let's have a look at you.
This is a property that has had serious problems with damp. This is not something you see every day, but I'm going to explain why it's up there and everything about it in due course. Welcome to another video, guys, from me, Stephen Hamilton.
Hi,
Today's
Steve.
video is off the cuff. It's something that wasn't planned, but we came up north to check on some of my renovations, and I've decided to do a short video on damp. Now, damp is a massive issue in a lot of houses, and I actually don't think a lot of people know how to rectify it or what to look.
Hiya, it's Damp Sam here. I've just come on just to tell you that dampsam.com is now up and running. We've got the Express damp proofing system course, designed by me, run by me, done by me. You can buy that. We've got the ultimate guide to black mold and condensation. You can pay what you want for it. And we've also got 3 free ebooks. And also we've got a guide to basement conversions, the ultimate guide to damp proofing, and also the podcasting series. You can get in contact with them and the YouTube membership. Enjoy it rest of your film. I'm just stopping this here because I wanted to have a look at what type of building it was, just to get an idea what year it was built. So straight away I'm looking at that and have a rough idea of ages of property, and that to me looks like it was built in 1920s or 30s. If I'm wrong, let me know, but it don't look like a 1900s house. It looks like it was built after 1919, which would make it a modern construction. Any pre-1919 would be a traditional construction. Difference is, if it's after 1919, more than likely it'll have been built with a damp-proof course already in, so it's got a physical damp-proof course in it. I could be wrong. These properties built after 1919 that's not got them in, and there are properties built pre-1919 that have got them in, haven't got them in, haven't and haven't. So, but it's just a guide. So 1919 is the point that we use, and to me that looks like about a 1920s, 1930s property. We see them all the time, and yeah. So I'd be saying it has got a physical damp-proof course in. So let's just have a look and see. I'm thinking it's that one there, but it might not be. It might be one to right of that. Let's have a look.
What to look for. So this video, I'm going to explain what damp is. I'm going to show you.
Right. Let's have a look. Yeah. So this one's rendered. This property's rendered on left, and I'm looking at that, and I don't think. I just don't think that it would have brickwork looking as new as that. I'm wondering if they've rendered it and then made it to look as if it's like brick. I wonder if they've put like a modern system on outside. They could have done.
Show you how to fix it, and we have a damp expert who is one of our contractors.
Really? A fucking damp expert? Is it him from Blackpool damp proofing? A damp expert? I wonder what qualifies him to be a damp expert. Is it just because he's been in game 10 years, 20 years? Let's have a look. It said 10 years, didn't it, on his intro?
Who's been doing it for a very long time, who's going to give you the rundown on how to fix, how to look, how to spot, and the costs of fixing damp.
Oh, you see, anybody that's putting costs in, especially when videos are more than a year, better off not putting costs in, because not everybody charges the same. There's no average cost. If there were an average cost across board, we'd all be accused of running a monopoly and having the same prices. This is what makes people competitive. You have different prices. People have small companies, people have big companies. We all have different overheads. So this is why you don't put prices in. This is why independent surveyors should not be putting prices in their PCA reports when they're doing houses. They should not. They should be, because the reason why they shouldn't be putting prices in, because they don't know. We run companies. We know what our companies charge. They don't know. There's no average price across the board. We don't work to a per square meterage on any remedial works. There.
So come inside and let's get this video started.
So straight away we know, so we spoke about it before and we've seen it in his reports. He likes the sand and cement Renderguard Gold. Now, there's no wrong with sand and cement Renderguard Gold back in the day, because this is, well, my bread and butter. This is how I started. It's safeguard system. You mix a render up, you put an additive in, you read the mixing ratios that's needed. So that'll be a 3-in-1 sand and cement mix with washed sand, and the Renderguard Gold will be 1 part Renderguard Gold to 24 parts water, and that's how you mix it up. And then you put it in mixer and let it air. And once it's dried out, it is damp proof. It is a damp proof system. The problem you've got is when you put that on a solid wall, a solid external wall, and it can cold thermal bridge, and you can get issues with customers thinking that damp has come back when it's condensation that's forming on it. And if you've not surveyed the property correctly and made sure they've got adequate ventilation in, or offered them adequate ventilation, then you could be going round in circles and calling you back saying it's come back, but it's only condensation forming on that cold surface. So this is other thing as well. So when you've got a damp company, now I don't know these lads from Adam, but when you've got a damp company, you've got to you can't just use a plasterer to do damp and remedial work. You've got to have plasterers with the relevant qualifications, been on the relevant courses. And this is why a lot of, well, nearly all companies in PCA send their technicians, we call them technicians, so send their technicians on courses with the PCA, and they'll do a 2-day technicians course. It's not the same as a manufacturer's course. A manufacturer's course is to send them to show them how to use their products. PCA's course is to do a broader spectrum and show them not specific products, but how to use different types of products for different types of dampness and timber.
Here we are, guys. We're inside the property, and this is the property.
That's a right stance, that, innit? He's ready for action, this lad. Wide stance, arms out. He's built his setup. He's getting ready for this interview.
That has had serious problems with damp. We're with Darren.
Right, so that one of the things that he said, he's had serious problems with damp. Now, obviously, damp, there's more than one type of damp. Not all damp is rising, as you've heard me say before. Now, if it's had serious problems with damp, so there's going to be, if it's on ground floor, potentially rising damp, but to me that looks like there's a subfloor under there, because it looks like a timber floor, because that's the type of house that they had. Could be wrong, could be a solid floor, but to me that looks like a timber floor. So straight away I'd be thinking, if it's a timber floor, it's going to be low level damp and some kind of bridging issue with the existing physical damp course that's probably in that property. I could be wrong. This is from my 40 years damp proofing, not 10, 40 fucking years. And and just experience in building. So let's have a listen to what the serious damp is.
Thank you for doing this video.
No problem.
Massively appreciate it. How long have you been involved in damp, basically?
Basically, the company's been going for about 12 years.
Yep, so you will class yourself as an expert?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
And I'm not going to say that he's not an expert, because if he's been going 12 years, he will have done his 10,000 hours at some kind of damp. I'd probably say that he started as a plasterer, and he's probably done most of his time as a plasterer. So he's got three. If company's been going 12 years, Blackpool damp, he will have done. He'll have done his 10,000 hours on different types. But has he been on a PCA registered course? I don't know. But there's no qualifications on his quotes, on his report. But obviously he's in Blackpool, he's Blackpool damp proofing. He will get a lot of work in Blackpool.
Okay, so we're going to go upstairs. We're going to talk about the ones upstairs first. And
then, by the way, that is hot. That is awful. Who the fuck would have them circles but over there? Surely this guy's not had that fitted. That must have already been in. That's got to have already been in. And that's a retrofit. That's not original. But for a plasterer, that is some messing about to do that, but that's just not my cup of tea.
We'll come back down and we'll go through the problems that was in here and that's in there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. We're in the first bedroom, and if you look behind me, this is not something you see every day, but I'm going to explain why it's upstairs and everything about it in due course. So, first question, what is damp?
Damp basically is unwanted moisture in the property.
And when does damp occur?
Damp can occur for many things. Water ingress, rising damp, different varieties of damp basically.
When you say water ingress, what is that in simple terms?
Water ingress is water getting in from somewhere, i.e. In this case, this property is the roof. So there's been a lot of roof problems which over the years has caused water ingress in the chimneys and the walls basically.
What is rising damp?
Yeah, rising damp is obviously when it's coming from beneath.
Yeah.
It can come from the timbers, from.
It can't come from timbers. Rising damp does not come from the timbers. It don't. It can affect timbers that's embedded in the wall, but rising damp does not come from the timbers. And I get that he's probably nervous. Guy's interviewing him, and he's probably nervous. And if he's out like me, he'll just go blank. So I'm giving him that. But rising damp does not come from timbers. It's basically salts that are in the ground, chlorides and nitrates, and the soluble. And if there's a water source in the ground, then they dissolve into the water, and then they'll rise up through the ground through capillaries in a capillary action, which is usually through the mortar. And when it gets to a certain point, it evaporates back out at wall as water vapour, and the salts get left on the surface of the plaster. And that's basically what rising damp is.
Stagnant water underneath the floor, and it rises into the plasterwork and contaminates the plaster.
It's not really all to do with stagnant water, but stagnant water, if you're in a subfloor and you've got a water source, then that can affect it. So he's obviously nervous, and he's been put on spot. He ought to have had a list of questions, really, but I can see where he's coming from. He's kind of tripped over a few of his words here.
And is there a height on rising damp?
There is a height on rising damp. It normally never goes above 1.5 metres, very rarely, but averagely we knock off to 1 metre.
Okay, and when you
See, it has not been known to go above 1.5 meters, but like is right on average, you knock off about up to 120. But what we put in as reports is hack the plaster off up to 300 millimeters after the last signs of dampness. So that's better than hacking massive areas off, because it might be rising damp up to 300 mil. So what's point in hacking it off 1.2 meters? You might as well just go 300 mil above it, find your last signs of damp with your meter, and then mark 300 above it, and then just cut that off. But again, like I said, a lot of companies, they want 1 meters. If they're sending plasterers, they're saying mark it up at that and not hack it off, and then they know that they've got a massive area. They don't want them testing wall and then marking it in case they get it wrong. And I get that. But 1.2, that's what is recommended now. He's just said he knocks it off at a meter, but in his report he's put 1.2, which that is what is recommended. It is. They recommend it. But for me, as a surveyor and an installer, I want to do as little work for as much money. So I don't want to be hacking loads of walls off for people. So what I'll do is I'll play it by ear, and it's me that's guaranteeing it in at the end of the day. So that's what I do.